Hey guys, Baos and Ramos, and this Sunday, September 18th, the Miami Dolphins will be facing the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore as part of their Week 2 matchup, which will be 1 o'clock kickoff, televised on CBS. And unfortunately, Dolphins are not favored to win this game, which comes to a slight surprise. I know Baltimore's at home. You give the home team a little bit more of a favor in terms of gambling odds and stuff, but according to ESPN's matchup predictor, they have the Dolphins at 24.9% chance of winning compared to the Ravens 74.9, which pretty bold, honestly, of ESPN and whoever runs that matchup predictor. Their power index, whatever the hell that may be. But the spread is set at -3.5 for Baltimore, so they are favored. Money line is at -178 for Baltimore, plus 150 for the Dolphins, and then the over under is set at 43.5, which I believe has dropped since Wednesday when I made the game picks with Chris and Joey. So also, if you haven't checked that out yet, check it out. Gonna be doing that weekly, and Joey will make an appearance here or there. So keep an eye, look out for that if you enjoyed Joey's appearance on the show. Now, let's talk about these two teams. Now, I'm going to start with the Baltimore Ravens and some of their injuries. Everyone that I'm listing is either questionable or on injury reserve. I will specify if they're on injury reserve just to keep things a lot quicker. Marlon Humphrey, cornerback. He has a groin injury, limited practice on Thursday. J.K. Dobbins, knee injury, fully practice on Thursday. He is recovering from an ACL injury, and he's looking like he's going to suit up on Sunday, which will be tough for the Dolphins. And then on top of that, James Porsche, wide receiver, had a groin injury, did not practice on Thursday, so looking unlikely. Patrick Ricard, fullback, calf injury, did not practice on Wednesday. Brandon Stevens, cornerback, is questionable, and Ronnie Stanley is questionable, offensive tackle. Now, these injured reserve guys are Kyle Fuller and Jawan James, who suffered a lot more major injuries. Kyle Fuller, unfortunately, suffered a tear in his ACL, and Jawan James tore his Achilles. So those are two major injuries that guys have landed on the injured reserve for the Baltimore Ravens. Something I really want to point out is the top two current cornerbacks for the Baltimore Ravens are listed as questionable in Brandon Stevens and in Marlon Humphrey. And then on top of that, you don't have to deal with Marcus Peters because he's still recovering from an ACL tear that he suffered last training camp. And then now for the Miami Dolphins, same type of thing. I'm going to go over all questionable guys and then specify injury reserve. Well, I'll start off with injury reserve right off the bat. Is Austin Jackson, offensive tackle. On ESPN, they have him listed as a guard, but yeah, he's our current right tackle, but no longer for the moment because he's on injury reserve. He has an ankle injury, nothing major that is something that to cause to some concern as why he landed on injury reserve. Dolphins just figured it would be better if they put the health of the player and team success ahead of just trying to trot him out there and sustain probably another injury and make it a lot worse. And the purpose of moving him to injury reserve is it allows the Dolphins to add another player onto the roster in the meantime of his absence. So that is essentially why they moved him there. But wasn't too happy with his performance on Sunday, but wasn't also like, why is this guy on the field either? So I think he has improved since last season, so I'm happy to see that. But needs to get better. Hopefully he can come back from this injury a lot better. And then everyone else I'm about to mention is questionable. We have Teron Armstead, left tackle. He has an injured toe. He was limited at practice on Friday, but more than likely suit up. But he's still listed as questionable. Cedric Wilson, he's a wide receiver. He's listed as questionable. He has a toe injury, limited at practice on Thursday. Brandon Jones, safety, limited at practice on Thursday. Savon Ahmed, he has a heel injury, limited at practice on Thursday, and Christian Wilkins listed as questionable. Same thing with Eric Rowe and Tanner Connor. Eric Rowe safety, Tanner Connor tight end, and then Keenan Carter tight end. He's dealing with a concussion protocol and no updates since Monday, so it's a bit concerning. But hopefully he gets all healthy as well, and hopefully recovers from the concussion. Now it's time to fully get into the action of this game. This game right here, Week 2. Miami at Baltimore. Both teams are 1-0. Both teams did beat an AFC East opponent. Baltimore faced the Jets and completely obliterated them, 24-9, which I wouldn't say is completely obliterating, but I mean Jets did better than the Patriots. I'll tell you that. And then the Dolphins did defeat the Patriots 20-7. Now, I mentioned earlier that the ESPN matchup predictor has the Dolphins less than 25% chance of winning this game, which I find mind-boggling. How are the Ravens' top two current cornerbacks injured, and yet they're not favored to, go on a big run in terms of having their wide receivers possibly go out? Tough one to say. Now, that is my first point of how this Miami Dolphins team can win this matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. It's utilizing the injuries to the Baltimore Ravens of their cornerbacks and throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, hopefully Cedric Wilson if he's healthy. If not, whoever else will fill in for him. On top of that, get Mike Gesicki involved. The cornerbacks are going to be way too pressed up, and safeties are going to be way too focused on the receivers. Get Gesicki in the passing game. He only got one catch for 1 yard last week. I want to see him get more involved in the passing game because it was very unfortunate to see that last week against the Patriots, given it was very tough to move the ball against the Patriots last week. So I'll give him that. But, yeah, definitely want to see him more involved. Now, moving forward, run the ball. Dolphins did not establish a good running game against the Patriots, but that was because the defense was a lot tighter in the second half than a lot of people were expecting and hoping from Baltimore Ravens, from the New England Patriots. At 63 yards rushing for the Ravens, 65 yards for the Dolphins, 270 passing, 213 passing for the Ravens, and Dolphins defense did allow way less yardage than the Ravens did last week. 291 allowed yards to 390 yards to what I would think is possibly a lesser offense is pretty astounding to me. So the fact that what I said earlier, this matchup predictor, I think is way off. Honestly, let's just put it at that. Okay, so I think the Dolphins need to establish a better running game. They did not lean into it as much as I thought they would have or should have. But I get it because it wasn't being as effective. You can run the ball 20 times, and if you're only getting about 50 yards from those 20 rushes, it's not very good. It's not very efficient. So I can understand why they may be shied away from that. But that is all for offense. Focus on the wide receivers and the cornerback matchups. And then on top of that, just when they can, run the ball and run it efficiently. Brought in two big guys in terms of running backs, so you want to see them go well with this offense right now. Now, defensively, last year when the Miami Dolphins faced the Baltimore Ravens, Thursday Night Football, they applied a lot of pressure on Lamar Jackson. Now, it wasn't necessarily that they're blitzing him all the time or they're containing him the whole time. It was more so mixing up the coverage, but having similar type of looks and just making him second think, because we would have almost 7-8 guys on the line of scrimmage and then drop two in coverage and then still have 6 or 5 guys or so coming in against their offensive lineman and whoever may be blocking in tight end or running back, whoever may be in there in the backfield to help out Lamar Jackson. But they weren't making it easy for him. So I know it's going to be hard to replicate that, but if they can find a way to find something similar to do, or if not, just come very close to almost doing the same thing, the Dolphins will be poised to go home with a win against this Baltimore Ravens team. But that's the one thing that I'm pretty sure John Harbaugh and the Ravens offense is scheming up to avoid. So hopefully if they do try it, I hope it goes well. I hope if they do try it and it doesn't go well, to throw it away and try something new. But that game plan was stellar. I think that was one of the best defensive performances I've seen from the Miami Dolphins the last couple of years. Now, with that being said, you need to put an emphasis on containing Lamar. You don't want him to extend plays and find the slightest bit of an opening to find a receiver that could bust a big play. So just make sure if you're going to get to him, bring him down. That's the biggest key defensively. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Not sure when my post-game review will be uploaded. Could be Sunday night, or it could be Monday afternoon, night, whatever it may be. There will be a post-game review. Just not sure when the time of the video will come out, but hopefully you guys can stick around and catch that at some point. If you haven't, subscribe, like the video, and yeah, I'll try to give you guys a heads up for when this next video will be out for the post-game review. But if you made it this far, appreciate you guys for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.